Oh my God, guys. Just when you thought it could not get any crazier, just when you thought it could not get any more insane, the insanity meter has been turned up way past 10. They rigged it so it could go to 15. Officers sleeping, making coffee, making popcorn. Wow. The plazas around them, the shopping centers around them were being burned and looted. They were napping. Not only that, wait till you find out where they were at. My name is Disorderly Product News.
I'm Michael Alexander, and I arrested the district attorney. You're watching Disorderly Product News. Stay tuned. And we don't need anyone to approve this comment.
What's going on, guys? Disorderly Product News here. This is still frames from a business in which a burglary alarm went off on 51st and Wentworth on Chicago's South Side. The business is owned, get this, by Illinois Congressman Bobby Rush. You know how every alderman or congressman has a storefront office? This was Bobby Rush's office. I'm sure it says Bobby Rush all over the place when you walk in. Well, these officers went in there and they slept. They opened up Bobby Rush's popcorn, put it in the microwave, and made themselves some popcorn. They brewed up some of Bobby Rush's coffee and drank themselves some coffee, all while Chicago burned around them, all while it was being looted, all while it was being lit aflame. There's about 14 officers in this video. Started at 1 a.m. June 1st. Now, there's a lot of things that we need to cover because who Bobby Rush is very, very, very important. For them to think that they could do this in his office is mind-boggling. Not only is he United States Congressman, he's a founding member of the Chicago chapter of the Black Panthers. The Black Panthers. He went into hiding after the Chicago Police Department raided Fred Hampton, who was the head of the Chicago, the figurehead, the leader of the Black Panthers in Chicago. They raided his home, and believe it or not, he ended up dead. Bobby Rush took refuge in a church and started referring to police officers as pink barnyard animals. Of all people, how could you think it was going to be okay for you to do that to that man's office? I made sure I made that part clear because it's impossible to know. It's impossible to be a Chicagoan. It's impossible to be a police officer, which is a very political job, and not know who Representative Bobby Rush is. He's been in politics for 30 or 40 years. You thought it would be a good idea to start taking a nap and making popcorn in his place while the city burned? And of course, you guys know this guy, the new Fraternal Order police head,
You see my media
George
credential? You see my media
Costanza.
credential? You see it?
That's your media
You
credential?
see it? Don't stay 6 feet away.
I am 6 feet.
The Fraternal Order police president, George Costanza, called the press conference that they held despicable. Those were his words, despicable. But answer me this, if they're doing that during a riot, what are they doing during a regular shift? And remember, they're getting paid overtime, which is time and a half, double time. If you're falling asleep and eating the head of the Black Panthers popcorn, drinking his coffee right in front of the camera during a riot, what are you doing on a regular shift? Now, let's watch pieces of the conference that Costanza called despicable.
I was out there, as was Chief Waller, as was the rest of the department.
You know it's getting bad when you got to state you were doing your job.
And the same time that these 13 officers were popping popcorn, taking a nap, relaxing inside this office, I was standing shoulder to shoulder with hundreds of other officers on State Street.
That's just because they were the unlucky ones who didn't come across a semi-looted business where they could make popcorn in and take a nap.
as we got pelted with rocks from rioters. I was hit in the leg. The officer standing next to me, part of my security detail, was hit in the head, hit in the helmet. Fortunately, he had his helmet on by the rocks. And that's occurring at the same time while these guys are inside having popcorn and making a pot of coffee. It is completely indefensible. And I'm the first one to jump up and defend officers. When I think they've done something right and they're improperly accused, I will defend them 100% of the time, and they know it. This is indefensible. We had 120 officers injured that night that they sat there. We had 167 vehicles damaged or completely destroyed the night these officers sat there.
Let me get this straight. First Deputy Superintendent, Lord of the Seas, Sultan, Swami, whatever the made-up surnames they gave you are. You got hit in the leg with a rock. A member of your security detail got hit in the head, but actually didn't get hit in the head, got hit in the helmet. And 167 of our cars, the civilians' cars, the public's cars, got burned and torched. What about all the people that lost their businesses? What about all the civilians that lost everything? It wasn't a rock in the leg. It wasn't a rock off a hard piece of plastic that's mounted to your head. They lost everything. When are you going to talk about them? And a reason they lost everything is because you have police officers sleeping in Bobby Rush's office. And how many other places were they doing that that's not on camera? That they didn't do it to a state representative. I would slow down there, Deputy Superintendent, Prince of the Seas, Cleric, whatever your forename is. I have a lieutenant with 30 years who gave an anonymous interview saying how inept you were and the rest of the deputy chiefs, unprepared, unable to deal with this, sent them out to act as scarecrows. That video's in the description. With no guidance, with no plan, the dominoes fall. And you're a part of it.
And countless businesses damaged and looted at the same time that these officers sat there.
These police officers, while on duty in uniform, white shirts and mob, how they took such a lackadaisical attitude, a non-caring attitude, violating my personal space.
Officers asleep during a riot with supervisors in tow reflects our leadership. A few commanders I had to cut off because they began talking about us being too harsh. And when he said us, I said, you mean me being too harsh by relieving officers of their police powers.
I would bet my left arm that commander wasn't Snelling. He actually took the stand against other officers. That's him right there doing it. Back to the press conference.
My rebuttal was, it's time for you to stop talking. Our words are cheap when we defend officers for their misconduct. That the integrity of the Chicago Police Department is far more important than any individual's officer's friendship with you or family relationship with you. Our integrity to the residents of Chicago is our number 1, 2, and 3 priority.
You know who you are. You know what you did. Don't make us come find you. Come in, identify yourselves, but we will find you.
Did you say you might need some officers identified, Mayor? Well, that's my specialty. Let me introduce you to Rule 37. I've identified more Chicago police officers than the Illinois Department of Motor Vehicles. Just let me know if you need me, Mayor. ConstitutionalCavalier@gmail.com. Disorderly Product News. I'll make you a priority. New Chicago Police Union President John CASTANZA, George Costanza. And by the way, do you remember when he walked into District 8 and he saw me recording with my back turned and he said, "Are you kidding me?" And I turned around and he turned around real quick. He didn't want to talk about the time in which he wanted to demonstrate in front of the mayor's house and sent out information flyers, emails, Gmails, whatever you want to call it. And he was the only one who showed up. He was the only one who showed up outside the mayor's house on the public easement using his telephone, using his recording device on his telephone. But he was the same one who was completely appalled that I walked into the 8th District, the People's Building, and was recording. Real life true story, George Costanza had a big 16th birthday party and sent out the invitation, but nobody showed up. New Chicago Police Union President George Costanza called the news conference despicable and said the looting at the shopping center was done by the time the officers shown in the images arrived. Well, the looting was done all over there, so take a nap and have some coffee. Everything else is fine in the city. That's why I say that if you are the head of the Fraternal Order of Police or some police union, you have to be somewhat insane. Because no matter what happens, you have to back the police. No matter what. The city's on fire. Oh, well, the looting was done in close proximity to them, so take a nap, have some popcorn. It's completely legitimate. Why not? They have to push their line, their ideology, no matter what, no matter how ridiculous it is. They do it. Lightfoot stopped short of calling for the cops to be fired, saying only that she supports the strongest possible action being taken against them. That contrasted with the mayor's recent call to fire an officer who flipped the middle finger at the protesters. Wait till you see tomorrow, Mayor. I got a video of an officer urinating on a building. Yeah. That video is coming out later on today, and they tried to do everything to deflect it and make it my fault. But back to this video, I want you guys to comment in the section below, what were these officers thinking? They obviously knew it was Representative Bobby Rush's campaign headquarters, his building, his storefront. Why in earth would they fall asleep, open up his personal items, eat them, make his personal coffee, and act like it was all good? They had to know that at a security system. There's no way. So please tell me what's going through their mind. They know who Bobby Rush is. Trust me. If you're from Chicago, you know who Bobby Rush is. And that's a white shirt right there. That's a third white shirt I saw. Those are two other white shirts. Write in the comment section below, what would make these officers, make these sergeants, make these lieutenants think this was all right? Write it in the comment section below. Why would they think they'd be able to get away with this while Chicago burned? They drank coffee and ate popcorn that wasn't theirs. They stole from the place they were responding to the burglary alarm from. They looted. They looted the place. There's no doubt about it. My name is Disorderly Product News, and I want to wish you and yours a very happy and healthy weekend. Make sure you subscribe to the COP-ARAZZI. That's THECOP-ARAZZI. Another one of my channels. But more than that, I want to wish you a good night.